And we are live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. In today's episode, I have a very, very important podcast to share with you with very important guests. But before we start, I'm just going to tell you a little bit the whole idea of this episode. I'm living in Germany. I have a guest here, a special one living in Germany that is known as the German among the Jewish Israeli community. He opened his own Telegram group, and we have also the one and only Khalifa from Israel. And we're going to be discussing about can the Druze and the Jews live safely in Germany? And there's something that I've been pondering a lot about lately while I'm laying in bed, while I'm just playing with my kid. When your country become an unsafe place for minorities, when minority among your nation, peaceful minorities, start telling you that they're feeling unsafe, and instead of listening for them, and heading to the word, you come and you start shaming them, you come and you start calling them Islamophobes and all kind of names, and they come to the point where they feel that it's unsafe for them to stay with their families, and they start migrating out of your country. That is usually a very big warning sign that things are going to go really bad. And I would strongly recommend any peaceful country around the world in the West, listen to the peaceful minorities when they tell you that there's something very, very wrong that is happening. So, without further ado, I want to introduce our guest here. We have Nir, who is
Hello.
living in Berlin, correct?
Yes, I live in Berlin.
Originally from Israel. And Nir, maybe you can tell us just real quickly who are you? Where are you from? How long you've been living in Germany?
Okay, hello. It's my first time, first of all, that I'm in interview and first time that I'm on a podcast and then live and then here with those amazing people. So thank you very much. It's my honor to be here, really. And I hope I won't be so stressed. Anyway, my name is Nir and I am 53 years old. I arrived to Berlin in 2000. 25 years ago. Berlin was totally different world. It was just 10 years after the fall of the wall, and it was just like an amazing place. And I decided spontaneously. I really didn't plan it. I was just for a visit of one day, and I said, "Wow, it's so nice." And I said, "Nia, you don't have a girlfriend, you don't have work, and you don't have an apartment now. So that's the time to decide something spontaneously." I was actually on a stopover from New York, moving back from New York to Israel. It's a fucking amazing story. So, and then I just decided to stay, and now 25 years, and I'm still in Berlin, but it's not going to be for a long time.
Wow, that's crazy. And you're also the co-host and the starter, basically, of the Telegram group called
Yes.
Hagermani, which is in translation called the German, correct?
Yes, the German, yeah, the German guy. The thing is, I have a very good friend, Itai, and I met him in France 22 years ago, and he lived in France for like 23 years. He came back to Israel a few years ago, and he's been writing already for quite a few years on Facebook and X and on Telegram. He made his Telegram canal, and it was called The French Guy, like Hatzarfati. And he
Ah,
is
okay.
really good, but he told me all the time, Nia, you tell me all the time about Germany, how things are fucked up. You have to write it, like public. And I said,
Mm.
"Ah, I don't know, I don't want it. I don't want to be known. And I have nothing to say." He said, "Listen, you have a lot to say." And I said, "Okay, you know what? Let's try it." I opened a channel. I called it Agermani, the German guy. And I wrote, and it was only him and me. So I posted a few things, and he said, "Listen, it's fucking amazing. I'm going to post it in my channel, Hatzalfati. You have to look for it in Telegram. It's really good." And he posted it, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, I got a few hundred followers. And then, it's like with the followers, you get also the responsibility. And I told him, "Listen, now I have to start writing." And he said, "Yeah." So I started writing, and it's just 2 months ago. And we are now on 2,000 followers and very
Wow.
good reviews. People are very happy about it. It's growing organically. I mean, it's not only because of Itai. So people say, "Oh, who is Itai?" I have to recommend him in this time. And it's going well. And I post every few days about German because, like what Itai says, people are wondering what's going on with Germany. That used to be like, the symbol of things that work, the symbol of things that are just like working as it should be, and things are planned. and suddenly everything is collapsing. It's not only about the Jews and the Druze and minorities, it's about so many things. But today we'll talk about the Druze and the
Yeah,
Jews and minorities. That's
definitely.
it.
Well, I feel you, and I gotta say that I got to know you about 2 months ago, something like that. Just right after you contacted me and you told me that you're starting this group, and that
Mm-hmm.
is many Israelis are in it, and they're sharing their experiences, their worried and their hope. And I have to say,
Mm-hmm.
I used to be worried as an Israeli after October 7th, especially about how things are turning in Europe and how things are turning in Germany as an Israeli. But I always knew, you know
Mm-hmm.
what, I have a way out. I can speak Arabic. So a lot of the Israelis, they have the thick accent. I'm an Israeli, and they speak Hebrew, and it might be
Mm-hmm.
easy to spot them and target them, but at least I had my way out. But then the Druze had their October 7 happening to them in Syria by the Syrian regime, and it went on for 14 days. And suddenly we started hearing voices in Germany that are no longer only against the Jews, but also against the Jews and the Druze. And that made me feel like, wow, maybe I should actually be part of this group and start hearing from what they have to say. And Khalifa, before we jump into you, and actually, you know what, Khalifa, because I need you here. You have better Arabic than me. So let's just say welcome to Khalifa. And how are you doing, Shepherd?
Hi, hi everybody. For you and for the German.
Is it
What's up?
German?
Mm-hmm.
So,
I just wanted to say about Neil because I did this, this coordination to make this happen because he's being modest and he's absolutely so talented. His writing is amazing. Like, it's a niche talking about in Hebrew about people in Germany. So I'm wondering how many Israelis are in Germany to begin with, but becoming so viral in such a short time tells you a lot about, first of all, his talent on writing things and explaining it. His writing is really amazing, and spotting on different things. So I feel like I have million questions to ask him, but let's jump to right to it.
yes, let's
Okay.
jump right to it. So this is a video that was posted on Neil's Telegram, and it's a video that was done recently. It's a demonstration by the Syrian migrants in Germany. I believe many of them are illegal migrants as well. And just listen to what they're saying. What are they saying? Can you explain what? To give you guys a bit of a context, so they started by shouting "El Sueda اليوم نحررها," which we're gonna liberate Sueda. Now these are Muslim Syrian migrants that are chanting and celebrating during the massacre of the Druze, during the October 7 of the Druze, when they were raping their daughters, kidnapping their women, beheading them in the streets. They went to the streets and started shouting, "We're gonna liberate Sueda," which in their eyes, liberate Sueda means that we're gonna bring Sharia law on Sueda. And Khalifa, let's see it again and just tell me if you can understand a little bit more of the Arabic, because I was struggling with all the noise. Today we're gonna liberate Sueda, July 19th.
The basically is saying, things for Syria, that Syria is free, and like it's more of national calls for Syria. It began with Sweden, but the thing is that they are like putting it out there that hey, we are Syrians and we are so proud of it, and in your face, it's like there's a saying in Hebrew says, "Kol kol ikav, kol isav va'edai midei Yaakov."
No,
או שזה
the
הפוך,
opposite.
כל יעקב והידע מידי עשיו, which means like you're saying something that's the point. You're saying something, but you mean literally something else. And we can see a pattern that we can recognize in any other place. First of all, these people fled Syria. Like if they are so happy with Syria, they are very welcome to come back to Syria, but they are the presence of their being as Syrians, as you know, to put it out there, is to push the boundaries and the limits of, you know, the tolerance of the secular Germany, and trying to, by saying, you know, things that might sound good or nice, but they are basically meaning very hateful things. And the occasion that we are talking about is basically a massacre. Those people are celebrating a massacre, and they are how do you say it? It's all about Ahmad Shara trying to glorify him.
You know what,
Which, sorry.
Khalifa, they're celebrating the massacre and they're shouting here, free Syria, free Syria. Now, I can't help but to remember the free Palestine slogans. What happened is, people need to understand, in the radical Muslim world, when they say freedom, it means oppression to others. Free Palestine means oppression to the Jews, to the Christians, to the Druze, means the destruction of the Jewish states. Free Syria, in their eyes, I'm all for free Syria after Bashar al-Assad, but the free Syria in their radical Sunni Salafi jihadi version means the annihilation of the Druze, the Christians, the Yazidis. Now let's continue this video because they said a few things there. Let's cover it. Obviously, they're fighting.
Yeah, probably there was like a Christian inside, and they called, "You come, you dog." That's what they said. I just translate from the German.
They love to call the Christian, the Jews, and the Druze as dogs and pigs. Yeah.
And you know, this is a hypocrisy. They say we'll live and die for Syria, which is an absolute lie. Like, you basically fled the country, you did a hell of a trip to come to Germany, and now after the Syrian regime or the Syrian country became Sunni, they just, hey, we are so proud of being Syrian. Such a bullshit claims, but so typical.
So typical. Palestine. Of course it's typical.
Yeah. And if I can translate here, what's written here in German.
Let me add the translation as you translated, because you sent me, right?
Okay. Yeah, I sent you this. So these are what's written there. That's not what they say. That's what's written on the film, you know?
Okay.
The other one that I sent you.
All right, so let me read this. Just the title is "Call for Violence Against the Druze and on Islamist Demonstration in Berlin." In the middle, Islamist supporters of Syrian rural Jolani protest on the 19th of July in front of the Red Town Hall in Berlin. Now, Khalifa, when did the massacre of the Druze started?
It started on July 15th, but the main thing happened on July 16th.
So July 15th, July 16th, that's when the massacre of the Druze by ISIS and Al-Qaeda and the government of Syria started. And right after, they go out to the streets and start chanting these things. And towards the end, they said among 300 to 400 people there were shouting against Israel's Druze and the Alawites, including open calls for murder and rape. My God. Today we will free Saweda and will make the Druze bow, meaning before murdering and raping them, that's basically bowing and humiliating. When they say, we're going to make them bow, we're going to humiliate them. Free Syria, and the Druze should go. Where should they go? Just like with the Jews, where should they go? They don't care. They want us all dead. Christ, one guy in the crowd shouts Christ. I guess he was a Christian. And then they answer him, come here, you dog. bring us the Israeli flags, so we burn it. Surprise, surprise, I like burning Israeli flags. And that's
Yeah,
because in Germany, there's Israeli flags that are, being held across different buildings, either by Germans who love Israel or by Israelis who feel safe now to show their flag after, what happened in the Holocaust. It's quite a miracle that we're having Israeli flags in Germany. This is for God. This is for God, not for power, not for fame, which is known jihadist saying. Go Zionists, get out of here. Go El Hijri, which is the Druze spiritual leader that is leading the resistance to not succumb to Sharia law in Syria. Get out of here. Wow, lovely bunch. Lovely bunch they've allowed Merkel have brought into Germany. And Nir, you were about to
yes.
say something about some translation?
Yeah, no, I just said that it's crazy because these are people who are standing in front of the town hall, the symbolic town hall of Berlin in Alexanderplatz, really in the center of city. And I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that this demonstration was illegal. I mean, you have to register demonstrations. I don't think this was registered. And they come there and they shout things in Arabic that, even if there is police, the police don't understand what they say. That's a big thing, like in Israel, you have a lot of people who speak Arabic, you have the security services who speak Arabic, but in Germany you have like millions of people who speak Arabic who came, and the authorities, they don't speak Arabic. So you have like crazy demonstrations all the time with anti-Semit and other things, and they call things and nobody understands, so they can't even stop them while they're going there. Yeah,
That's
and
Did I
it's
crazy.
have
crazy.
a question for you, if you don't mind, Mansour.
Go ahead,
Uh,
please.
well, you said you came to Germany in 2005,
2000.
2000. Sorry, so in 2012, the that's so-called revolution or the civil war erupted in Syria. Germany had the open door policy. Remind us when it basically was declared. Let's say
It's
2013.
They started mass migration in 2015, yeah? And in
Yeah.
the beginning, Angela Merkel, who was the Chancellor of Germany, she was against it and she said, no, we are not, we don't accept. But then one day she just opened the doors and she said, wir schaffen das, like we are going to make it. She said it to the German people, although we have so many people who are coming, don't worry, it's going to be okay. And I knew it's not going to be okay. I knew that if you have a lot of people who are coming from Arabic countries who are Muslims and don't have any, they were fed anti-Semitism and anyway anti a lot of things by mother milk. That's what they have from the day that they are born. And I knew it's going to be bad. It was clear to me, but I have to say I was still surprised to see how much worse it became and how fast it became. I don't know if you know the book of Michel Houellebecq, The Submission, I think it's called, Unterwerfung in German, Knia in Hebrew.
Mhm.
It's a book that he wrote around, I don't know, 15, 13 years ago. And he talked about how Europe is falling and how England, he's talking about the future. And I thought, listen, man, Michel Houellebecq was always a little bit extreme. And I said, he went too far. But I have to say, it's much worse and it's much faster than even in the book. It's crazy. It's really crazy. And the thing is, it's getting worse all the time. People tend to blame Angela Merkel for opening the doors. She's not
Wow.
there for a long time. Opening the doors, you can close the door every day. I mean, also today, you have a few hundreds of migrants, illegal migrants who are coming to Germany and they are saying, Asyl, Asyl, I'm an asylum, and they are just being accepted. That Germany still has, I think I read 91,000 people that Germany doesn't know who they are. They don't know their name. Many times they don't know where they're from. They don't know their age. They throw their documents and they just say something. And some of the people you still don't know. That like a month ago there was a terrible murder in Amsterdam. I don't know if you heard about it, about Lisa. She's like 17 years old and she was biking on her bike back home and she was murdered by somebody. And he was caught. And now, a month after, they still don't know who he is. They
Wow.
still even don't know what his name, where he comes from. He says he's from Nigeria, but they can't even verify it.
Wow. You know
A
what?
month after a murder.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? You mentioned that they don't know who they are. I have a relative who fled, a Druze, who fled from Syria and came to Germany. He's a law-abiding
Mm-hmm.
citizen. He have his citizenship here. He works, he paid taxes, he assimilated with the
Mm-hmm.
culture. He told me that when he was on the boat coming from Turkey to Greece, he was the only Druze on that boat, and most of the people there were actually Muslims from Afghanistan, from Iraq, from Syria, and they together burned their passports and told
Mm-hmm.
everybody on the boat, if you say who we are, we're gonna kill you. So that was one boat of people hiding their identity and coming. Now, by all means, I want to make things clear here to the people who are watching. None of us here, I believe, is against migration, legal migration. We are migrants. You know,
Yes.
Khalifa is living in Israel. I'm a migrant here. Near as a migrant, we're all for legal migration, but there is a difference between migration and invasion. And that's where I point my finger at Merkel because she should know. They have the Secret Service in Germany. She was the leader of Germany. She should have easily known what is the difference between healthy migrations of people who actually want to come, who are healthy for your society, for your economy, for your culture, who are gonna keep your country safe, not gonna harm your children, your women, not gonna risk the life of the LGBTQ community here, the minorities
Mm-hmm.
here. You have migration and you have invasion. And when it comes to Islam, and I'm sorry to say it, guys, but there's a reason why there's old saying in the book that says not all Muslims are terrorists, but all terrorists are Muslims. That should ring a bell. That should make you think, wait a second. These people are coming from countries where they have no laws to protect women, no laws to protect children. There's no women's right, children's right. There's no human right. A lot of their cousins and uncles are the ones right now walking and beheading people in the streets. And the only reason this guy in Germany is not beheading anyone is because he's not in Syria and it's not allowed and supported by the government. Otherwise, he would have been doing it right now in the streets of
Mm-hmm.
Germany. But for some reason, Europe still refused to listen to minorities that tell them, listen, we came from there. We know these guys. You can't just open your borders and let anyone in. I'm not saying don't let people, bring people if you want to help, bring people to support your economy, but be a little bit more cautious. But they have no cautious, literally just open border policy, come in, welcome, Habibi, come to Germany. You know, that kind of a silly kind of meme that is going around the internet.
Mm-hmm.
So, Nir, if I may, because it was like 10 years ago. In terms of history, it's nothing. What is 10 years? And fast forward from 2015 to now, and you deciding to leave Germany. So, give us just the essence of how does it feel being, I don't know, so-called invaded by those people, and feeling that the country is being deteriorated in such a way that you are saying it's not worth living in.
Well, listen, what you say, 10 years is nothing, but it depends which 10 years. You know that in Germany, the 20s, the 1920s, were like the happy 20s. You know, it was a very happy and open and very free and liberal Berlin and Germany. And then, you know what happened in 1933? Hitler came to power just a few years after. 1939, there was like the beginning of the war. 1945, 6 million Jews, but also tens of millions of other people were just killed in a terrible war, and whole Europe was in ruins. You can't, it's who said that it's not going to be like this in 10 years? I can definitely not guarantee it to you. It can be that things will get worse because I tell you what, first of all, I mean, we're talking now about Druze and we talk about Jews, but let me tell you a story of a friend of mine. His name is Adam. He is Polish, he is not Jew, and he is gay. And he came to Berlin 22 years ago. And he told me just a few weeks ago, listen, Neil, I'm also leaving Berlin. I'm going back to Poland. I came to Berlin from Poland 22 years ago because I felt uncomfortable in Warsaw being gay. But today, I say, oh, I'm going back because maybe I feel there uncomfortable, but here I feel safe. He said, listen, I'm a big guy. I'm training, I'm muscular, and I'm walking on the street and I'm being spit at and I'm being like cursed and I'm being attacked, and I just don't feel safe anymore walking here. So this is not a problem of Jews and Druze. This is problem of many people. And you know what I told him? I told him, listen, Adam, you know, you and me, we have a place to go to. We are going back to our place. We have a place to go to. But what about the Germans? The Germans, why don't they fight for their own country? They have nowhere else to go. You know, it's not about you and me, Mansour. It's about the Germans themselves. Wake up. What are you going? You know, you built yourself a beautiful country that has a lot of things. You know, it's a socialist country with a lot of, solidarity with the poor, and it's all going to the garbage because you get the wrong people. And you tell yourself that this is, you say in Hebrew, they are peeing on you, and you say it's rain, they're getting peed on, and the Germans, most of them, friends of mine, they just refuse to wake up because
Wow.
I
You know
tell
what?
you why. Sorry.
Yeah, please go ahead.
I think that we Israelis, but I guess some other people, we are alert. We are expecting things to happen. But Germans who live all the time in what is called La La Land, with things, with cartoons around them, and peace and pacifism and EU and beautiful and nature and green energy, suddenly to wake them up and to tell them, listen, you are living in a nightmare. You're living in a dream. This is something that they just it's very hard to accept it because you have to change your whole thinking, because you think, oh, everything is going to be good, things are going to be better, just talk to them, there's going to be peace.
I'm living in Germany now, and I'm feeling that there is a mix of ignorance, like you mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
and also there's a more sinister side to it, which is pride. There's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
intellectual people in Germany that feel like they know better than us. They look down on us in that aspect. Oh, we
Mm-hmm.
know better. You guys are from the Middle East. You guys are racist. You guys are barbarians. We know better. And
Mm-hmm.
then they're so fixated in their box way of thinking because they've been told to think that way. They need to hate Donald Trump. They need to hate Bibi Netanyahu.
Yes.
They need to hate the white successful man. Everybody that think otherwise is racist. And then someone like us, someone from Iran, someone from Yazidis, Alawite, the Jew will come and tell them, guys, listen, we're here to warn you. They look down on you. And you feel all the time as if you need to justify it. I was sitting with some friends not long ago, great people, by the way, in a bar
Mm-hmm.
in Germany. And all the time they kept asking me, how come Israel is being so evil, so this, so that? And every point that they mentioned, human rights, children rights, and I kept telling them, guys, Israel is fighting to defend themselves. Israel is the only place that is safe for Arabs like myself and Khalifa. Look at what's happening around Israel. If you care about children, why don't you care about the children killed in Sudan? If you care about women, why don't you care about women kidnapped in Sudan or in Syria? If you care about human rights, why aren't you talking? But all the time you're just obsessed with Israel, Bibi, Donald Trump. And they seem to be very, very pride in that, looking at you down. You don't know what you're talking about. Of course you're gonna say that, and you just don't want to listen. You keep trying to warn them.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to ask you a question because you mentioned the LGBTQ community, and I have a lot of friends from that community, great people.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the day when they made that announcement in Berlin. I think the police came and said that gay people and Jewish people should avoid entering some neighborhoods in Berlin, Muslim neighborhoods, and should
Mm-hmm.
hide identification marks, Star of
Yeah.
David, gay pride, flag, and etc., or the closings, because they might be attacked. Now, when I heard,
Mm-hmm.
I thought to myself, like, are we living in Germany, in a modern Germany, where that's what they're saying? Guys, listen, hide your identity as a Jew in Berlin, hide your identity as a gay
Mm-hmm.
in Berlin, because some radical jihadists might attack you. Can't they actually see the problem? And I want to ask you, how did that make you feel when, as a Jewish person living in Berlin, post October 7? What's the vibe in the streets?
Well, I don't really, I'm not a religious person, like before when I came to Berlin, I was an Israeli and then I became a German, but I didn't identify as a Jew because I'm not going to synagogue and I don't believe in God. But since October 7th, definitely I'm being looked as a Jew. And when they said it, that don't go to Neukölln, they said because we cannot guarantee your safety. And this is one of the main reasons why I want to leave Berlin and leave Germany. Because, it's like I live in a very good neighborhood. I live in Mitte, Prenzlauer Berg. It's one of the best neighborhoods in Berlin, and it's very safe there. but I don't want to have this feeling that I cannot go to some places. I feel uncomfortable. I feel unwelcome, more than this. Every time I go out and I say, oh, which stickers am I going to see? Which demonstration I'm going to meet? Which people with those kafias I'm going to meet? Which posters with whatever I just, it makes the whole feeling, it makes the whole atmosphere just that I don't feel welcome anymore. And this is a
Wow.
shame because me, myself, my grandparents from my father's side, they ran away from Germany in 1938 with nothing. And, it was never, how it is. When you come to Israel, the people came, you just don't talk about it. They never talked about it. But since October 7th, I feel them much more. It comes to me. I really feel I don't want to be in their situation. I want to leave Germany with pride. I want to leave Germany because I have options. I have alternatives. I am a computer scientist and I have a profession and I want to go with everything. Like the Jews left Egypt with all their stuff and with all their people. That's how I want to leave because I don't want to come to the situation that the situation is so bad that I have to leave and I have to leave now. I have to leave tomorrow. I had to leave yesterday. No, I want to leave when it's still okay because I don't want it to get so bad. And I'm 100% sure it's going to get so bad because
Wow.
you see the direction,
The descendant of a Holocaust survivor that fled Germany just in time to survive, came back to Germany to live because Germany have made uh, amends for their sins and became a great
Mm-hmm.
nation. They
Yeah.
abolished Nazism, hopefully, and now they replaced Nazism with jihadism. And now again, the grandson of a Holocaust survivor need to leave Germany because he doesn't feel safe. And I will add to that as well, even the Druze are starting to feel that they came here seeking for shelter.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to make it clear
Yes.
to people because many people like to think like, oh no, these poor migrants, guys. Islam is not a minority. There's 2 billion Muslims around the world. Islam is a majority. Islams are not the victims, they're the oppressors. If you look at all the oppressions happening under the sun, slavery, modern day slavery, sexual crimes, I don't know what, jihad, it's happening in Muslim countries and they're coming to your country. Now, yes, of course, there is innocent people among them that come here, but there's a lot of uninnocent people. The real migrants are the peaceful minorities. There's the Yazidis, the Druze, the Jews, the Alawites, the Christians who are running away from Sudan, from Libya, from Egypt, from Syria, who are coming to seek your shelter. And if they start migrating and running away, it's just like in the nature. When you see all the birds flying suddenly, you need to
Mm-hmm.
tsunami coming. Something bad is coming.
Mm-hmm.
Listen. So when you start seeing peaceful migrants coming and telling you it's not safe for me here, you can't protect me. You can't protect.
Mm-hmm.
One of my biggest worries, I feel much safer as an Arab in Israel because in Israel I know that the police, the secret service will probably most likely will be on top of an attack before it happened and will save me, protect me. Here, I know for a fact that if someone will come and start targeting me or my family or my friends, the only response will come after the attack happened,
Yeah. If at all.
if
You
at all.
know, I would like to challenge it a bit, just for the sake of the argument, because from the perspective of the country, they are losing, a computer scientist and they are gaining a lot of migrants. You are a tax-paying
Yes.
citizen, and they are not. They are liability on the country itself. So
Totally.
this is a sheer loss for them. That's obvious. But
Totally.
just a German could say, hey, we had mass Muslim migration on the 70s once when we didn't have much hands to work in our industry, basically, and we brought a lot of Turkish people and they assimilated. We all know Masoud Özil and all those famous German Turkish people. So what is the difference? Why is that different than what happened on the 70s?
Ooh. Let's talk about the big elephant in the room. Should we, Nir?
Okay.
I mean, first
Okay.
of all, Turkey, I have great Turkish friends, and Turkey is not Syria. Let's start with that. Turkey
Mm-hmm.
is not
It's
Syria.
not Arab.
Syria, is it Jihadistan? Syria is literally Al Qaeda land, and that's one thing. So there is a big difference. Second of all, even from Turkey, by the way, not long ago in Germany, they found out that all the mosques here were audited and taught by Turkey. They were like leading,
Mm-hmm.
organizing the mosque teachings in Germany, and they put a stop for it. Why? Because they found that they're teaching a lot of radicalized teachings, jihadist teaching, and anti-Semitic teaching. So Germany said, okay, stop for that. Now, yes, there is great Turkish people. Muslim, Turkish Muslims. One of my best friends here in Germany is a Turkish Muslim. I love the guy. He's literally one of my best friends in the city. I kiss the ground that he's standing on. The guy is just an awesome guy. But there's also a lot that did not assimilate. And that's only from the
Mm-hmm.
Turks. Now let's talk about the Syrians, and I don't know what. A lot of serious problems are coming from there. And you mentioned they're replacing one very educated community that's running away with a very radical jihadist community. And sorry, I went on a rant. Neil, you have anything to say about this question?
Well, I agree with you that Turkish are not Syrian, and also the 70s are not today or 60s when they arrived. I love Turkey. I've been there many times. I love the Turkish people, but also Turkey became now very extreme with Erdogan. And the Turkish people, even here, they are quite, let's say, patriotic after 60 years, and they are being affected by what Erdogan says. You see it a lot. So their children and grandchildren of those who came in the 60s are not those who came then, and today they are also a bit more. Apart from this, I had a very nice guy. We used to work together. His name was Çalar, and he is Turkish. We used to work like 10 years ago, and he came from a family where education was very important. He's also a physicist, I think. He did a PhD, and he told me, listen, our family was mobbed because we wanted to, for us, education was important. All our neighbors, all the people, all the Turkish guys in a class, they were mobbing us more than they were mobbing German people, because they told us, you behave as German. He comes from Regensburg, it's in North Bavaria, and he told me that he had to leave, like his family as a kid. They have to leave the neighborhood, what was mostly Turkish, and go to another neighborhood because they felt uncomfortable and they were mobbed. So to say that it's great, no. But they are German citizens, nobody thinks. And today Germany is, a lot of it is Turkish, and it's fine. A lot of areas in Berlin, they are Turkish, and it's fine. And Turkish food, and it's nice, it's part of us. I don't think it's going to happen with the Syrians. And even if it will in 100, 200 years, it's, the Jews are gone, the Druze are gone. Like, what happens,
Will become a Muslim
there were
Khalifa.
no terrorist attacks because of the Turkish, yeah?
Yeah,
Now
you know
look at
what?
what's going on.
Exactly. Let me show you guys a video here, and I'm sure Khalifa have seen the video. I don't know if you've seen that video, near, but this video has been going through my head quite a long time. It's happened in New York
Hmm.
when the Druze came to do a peaceful demonstration asking for their hostages, women and children got kidnapped by the government of Syria, to be brought back. Syrian migrants came to support that demonstration like this.
Hmm.
That is the sign of humiliating the Druze, cutting their mustaches, massacring them. Al-Shara is Al Qaeda terrorist, ISIS terrorist. He's the leader of Syria right now. Now look at the next. That's the most
And he's
shocking part.
saying حي العشائر.
Al-Ashair. Okay, sorry.
الشرع and العشائر.
Yeah, thanks, Khalifa. Look at this. This is a little girl with her little brother. Look what she's doing.
Wow, wow. Wow, wow, wow.
What kind of
Crazy.
a parent will bring his daughter to a demonstration to do genocidal signs to the people there? Why isn't she in school? Why isn't she studying science? Why isn't she learning to dance, to do a play, to sing, to play a violin? Why is she going to a radical jihadist demonstration to celebrate the massacre of minorities? That's what happened when you allow Muslim migration from Syria. And it's only Muslim migration from Syria. It's not Druze, it's not Yazidis, it's not Alawites. It's only Muslim migration from Syria. None of these guys here are coming from, not Christians that are being burned right now. Their villages are being burned in Syria. And to come and bury your head in the sand and think, no, they're innocent, they're poor, they're miserable, we should help them. No, you're not helping them. You're not helping your country. You're not helping them. You're destroying your country by being this. This was sick. Watching this,
I think just to make it clear for people, for us seeing it, it's like seeing the Nazi salute, right? For those people who might say, "Hey, this is nothing," but and there's another layer to what you just said, because these are migrants of Syria that came to the U.S. Like there's classes. There's the ones who fled to Greece. Others came to Turkey, and those are the lower classes. Germany might be a higher class just because how difficult
No,
is the trip, right?
it's not higher
But
class in Germany. Trust
to
me.
come
no.
America,
to
yes,
come
they
to
need to
the
get there.
United States, it's not that easy, and those people are like the top of the migrants. So this is the level that we are seeing, and they are basically doing a Nazi salute,
That's
which is
insane. That's insane.
sick. That's insane.
And here's another
Yeah.
video that I saw today that shocked me. And that happened in the UK. And I feel like what's happening in the UK, what's happening in France is very soon on our doorstep here in Germany. Watch this video, guys. It's a hard one.
Mm-hmm.
Just wanted to tell my story about extremist Islamists in the UK. Me and my wife had to flee the UK around 2 years ago. A group of Muslims accused my wife of apostasy. My wife's never been a Muslim. The threats and attacks started off small, and then they just ended up just so violent. I've been stabbed, I've been beaten, I've been stamped, I've been hit with a car. I was hit in the head so hard at one point, my ears still ring now, almost 2 years later. I could barely see. Eventually, once I was kind of beaten and battered and incapacitated, a group of men sexually assaulted my wife, and we just decided to flee the UK. We've been running ever since. We have no home. We have nowhere where we can go. We're just living on money that we have saved until we run out and die.
Wow.
Anytime we've returned to the UK, our phones will ring, or somebody will spot us, or somebody will know who we are, and I just have to live in this hell. And my wife's just so mentally ill from it all of the packing up and just living out of bags. And we just don't have anywhere that we can call a home. We've got no protection. We can't defend ourselves. We can't speak out. We can't say anything. People ask us why we didn't go to the police. The truth is because the police is on their side, and they always are. We've got people raping children, getting 3 months in prison, and then a white English person posting about it on the internet and getting 30 months in prison. And this is just insane. There wasn't a point where I was being attacked where I wouldn't try and defend myself. I can't just sit there and just let them beat me because of a faith that they have that seems to be favoured by the UK government. So I'd fight back, and I knew damn well it would be turned around on me, and it would be classed as a hate crime, Islamophobia, be racially aggravated, and they would turn it around on me because it was me against a group of them. My life's been ruined. I don't have a home anymore. And we just keep pushing on. But the truth is we don't have anywhere to go. I looked to seek asylum in the US, and every single lawyer that I spoke to said that it's too precarious because you're too white and you're from England. You can't get asylum. So basically, me and my wife's life now is just to roam around the earth until we run out of money. And when we run out of money, I don't have the answer for you.
This should be a stark warning to Germans. This is coming your way. British citizens are fleeing the UK because they were sexually assaulted, because they were stabbed, and they're afraid to come back to their own country because I think the police might actually turn on them rather than stop these jihadists. Seeing a proud man talking like this and crying because he feels like he can't defend his family, because he feels like his government is not supporting him, is supporting these jihadists. No, he was stabbed by migrants. And it brings me, I think, Nir, you mentioned to me that before we started, and I told you wait with it until the show because I want to hear the whole story. You mentioned that you were once attacked or stabbed by a
Yeah.
Muslim migrant, or can you tell us exactly what happened?
It was 16 years ago, in August 2009. You know, I did a PhD in computer science in Amsterdam, so I lived there. And one day, it was in the end of the summer, I was walking in the street on the way to the supermarket, and then just out of nowhere, somebody came and took two knives and he stabbed me here, and he stabbed me in the back, so 4 times. He didn't say Allahu Akbar. I'm not sure it's because of that he knew I'm Israeli. You know, he's never been caught. Fortunately, I understood what's going on. I called the police immediately. They came in a few minutes. Otherwise, I would be dead. And they took me in an ambulance to the hospital. And then I don't remember anything because I was in coma for 2 months. And I was in a hospital for 6 months. It's very hard for me to talk about it. I was in a hospital for 6 months. I lost a kidney. I was operated 7 times, I think. So 5 times then and 2 times after. I was intubated, you know, like I couldn't breathe, and I was in dialysis because my kidneys didn't work. I was almost dead for a very long time, you know, and it took time. And yeah, so
Sorry to hear that, man.
yeah, well,
How do you know that
listen,
he was a
you have
Muslim?
to get things better out of everything that happens to you. You know, that's
Amen
what
to
I
that.
should say. Whatever happens to you, take it as an experience. It happened to me. I have to say, I've never been a victim of this. It's been a very bad experience. I can't recommend it. It was a lot of pain, a lot of this, but you know, I'm healthy today and I'm
It's
happy today.
amazing that you take it that way. Amazing that you take it to, that's a very Jewish spirit to bring the good and not the bad out of everything. But I have a question for you, and forgive me, if it's an uncomfortable, but how do you know that he was a migrant? How do you know he was not, someone from Holland, local
Yeah,
that's
well, um, in Holland, you have a lot of Turkish migrants and you have a lot of Moroccan migrants. And the Turkish are quite okay, they're like in Germany. And the Moroccans are making a lot of problems. I don't want to generalize because I'm sure there are very good Moroccan immigrants, but and they look Moroccan. You know, you just see they have the small, small curls, and they look Moroccan. Everybody knows it, and that's what I remember. That he looked Moroccan. But more than this, the police knew it. The police didn't talk to me because there was nobody to talk to, and they had one picture or maybe 2 pictures of him from the back from some surveillance cameras. You know, it was 2009, there were not a lot of cameras back then, and they knew that he was Moroccan. You know, I have at home, I can send you like the poster that they put on all over the neighborhood looking for witnesses. And it was also on TV in what is called like in the Shidur Hoker, like in, you know, asking for the public for help. And they said that he was North African, which means Moroccan, you know.
and he just
So
jumped you out of nowhere and just decided to stab you with 2 knives?
yes, yes, you know, that's the bad thing. The bad thing how the Dutch police treated my family and my friends after it, because the Dutch police, they come out of this thing that, you know, if something like this happens, it's usually one of the 3 things. It's either because of drugs, that I was a drug dealer, or that I owed somebody a large sum of money, or that there was some kind of a love affair. And the police was really terrorizing all my friends and family for many, many hours of investigations, trying to find out maybe I am a drug dealer undercover. And they said, no, 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 listen, he is a researcher at university. And said, well, you know, we've seen everything. We've seen people who have double life. And my family started thinking maybe I too have a double life. So yeah, it was very hard for them, you know. Fortunately, I was asleep for 2 months, so yeah, it was horrible.
First of all, thank you for sharing. I need to go in a few minutes, so if I may, I have a couple of things to ask. Well, first of all, like I'm stunned, and in my phone call with you, Neil, you just said, there are 2 gang rapes a day in Germany. And
Yes.
this remind me of a saying of what is his name? The boxer. Wow, I forgot his name. He said, "Everybody has a plan until they get a punch in the nose."
Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson, exactly. That's the name. So this is the thing. Like you can play it all nice and humane, so called, but what's happening to the fathers and brothers of those girls that been raped a day, like twice a day? That doesn't seem quite logical to me. So try to tell me about it a bit. Like where are these people?
Where these people, where are the girls themselves, because they are being left to their traumas, and also the family and also the friends. It's sad to say, I had a post about it, about a girl that was gang raped in Hamburg at night in the city park, and it was 11 people, 11 people, and some of them are minors. And in Germany, until you're 21, you're being sentenced as a minor in a minor court. So they got very minor sentences, and many times they're being released until their sentence, until their court hearing. They're being released. They tell them, "Oh, come in that day." You know that I just found out a week ago that Germany has 150,000 people that they are looking for that have to go to jail, and they don't go to jail. They just don't appear. And they are not being looked for because nobody can look for them.
How many?
150,000 people. There are 880,000 people that are being requested by the police, wanted for hearing, for court, and 150 of them are 150,000. They have to go to jail, and 88% of them, they are not German. 88% of them.
And
Listen, it's
what?
crazy. It's a bankruptcy. But if you say
So
it, you're immediately Nazi. Yeah?
So, okay, so first of all, because the topic of racism, assume is very delicate in Germany. So, how can you connect the migration to these crimes? That's first. Second, by hearing Tommy Robinson, I believe there's a certain kind of a pattern that a certain group from a certain country, like in the UK, it's the Pakistani. So I probably assume there's something in the mosque going there that makes them heated,
Mhm.
or I don't know, very terrorizing. So in Germany, is it only the Syrian group, or anything about that, or does the country like a given migrant, does he have any program that he goes in just to check in? Where did he come from? What is his beliefs? What he's coming to do? And to give him like basic guidelines of how to behave in a Western country.
No, no. Shall I start, Mansour? The thing is that when people come, a lot of them came from Afghanistan, a lot of them came from Syria, a lot of them came also from other countries. There is a big diaspora of Lebanese and Palestinian who came from the 70s, and most of them are, what can I say? It's not nice to generalize, but most of them are not good. That's the problem, the Arab society, also the Druze, yeah, but it can be as good and it can be bad. Also Japanese, it's not an individual society. It's a collective society. So there is a very big meaning for family, and for your society around you and for neighbor. And they come to Germany, and Germany is in the individualistic country. And the Germans think that everybody is like this, but it's not the case. They come here and they are alone. And the only thing that they have is their community in the mosque. A lot of them, they get radicalized in Germany. In Germany, I had a few posts about it, about some people who were murderers, and they came to Germany, and they just got radicalized here, which is horrible.
And there's no any surveillance or like checking in what's happening in the community. Like if you ask me, I know it would sound crazy to German, but the
I know.
right thing, like if you go to, I don't know, sports club, you
Mhm.
need to pay for it, or you go to university, they need to check that you are qualified to behave in this facility or in this institution. So in Germany, there's no benchmark or there's no guideline. Like if you ask me, the right thing is to have these people, and it's gonna sound awful, but you're bringing millions of people, put them in some sort of a ghetto. They've never been in a proper country. They don't know what is a low country, how to be a law abiding citizen. That's a concept that they are not familiar with. So you need to make them somehow assimilate. You can't just throw them in the country and hope for the best, because it's not gonna happen.
Listen, I'm smiling because I love you so much. You're so naive, you know. We are in Germany, and in Germany, people have what is called human rights, and there are human rights even for illegal people, people who came while breaking the law, coming and while telling them that they are not who they are and not from where they are saying. They still get human rights, and they still get money, and they still can go and demonstrate against Israel. There is the left and the green parties will never let something like this happen. They say, you come here, we are going to treat you nice. You're not, they don't have any, they are not obliged to do anything. They are not obliged to do anything. They can even, they get money from the state. They can even disappear and they still get money from the state. They call them, they don't come, they still get money from the state. No, these things don't happen. In Germany, you cannot go into people's soul. You cannot investigate them too much. There are no, that surveillance cameras in Germany are illegal. You cannot put surveillance cameras on the street looking for, in places with a lot of crime. You can't do it. They don't let you do something like this, and we are so far away from it. We will have to go from it. And Germany doesn't have secret service so much. There is the BND, the Bundesnachrichtendienst, but they are so naive, they have no idea. They don't have a lot of police that understand Arabic. They don't have this like in Israel, that you have Modi'in, that they all came, and they are not planning anything. All those things are so far away. It will have to come. And I hope that Israel will be able to help them, because Israel is a part of the solution, not a part of the problem. But no, it's far away from this.
I'm so sorry that I have another
We don't
meeting
hear
that
you,
I need to attend.
Khalifa.
Sorry?
No,
No.
No, we hear it. I
okay.
hear it.
I don't hear anybody.
Okay,
We hear
so
you.
we hear you. Okay.
Can you hear us
W-
now? Yeah.
I don't hear anybody. Do you hear me?
Yes.
We hear you.
I don't
Yes.
hear you.
Maybe you clicked mute on us. Try to see.
Yeah, try
I don't know
to.
what's going on.
Try to fix your
Okay.
microphone. Meanwhile,
Let me
Khalifa,
put.
thank you so much for coming, brother.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say that
Hello?
if he
I don't
is
hear
hearing,
anything.
mm,
No?
oh my God, that's great. We never
I don't know
had
why.
such.
Shall I disconnect and come again?
Maybe disconnect and come back again.
So
Yes.
wait a second.
So yeah. So just tell him that I'm so sorry that I need to go, because he's fascinating and he's telling the things in such a good way, and I highly recommend people to follow him on Telegram. He's amazing. He's doing a great job in my opinion, and I think that Israel is winning him back. Like if I want to take his approach on finding things, good things in the things that he's doing. Hey, do you hear us?
Yes, I do.
Oh,
It was
great.
probably on my side.
So now I can tell it in your face. I just say that I have another meeting that I need to attend, and I'm so sorry that I have to go. Thank you so much. Like hearing you and listening to what you have to say, and I highly recommend people to follow you. And I just wanted to say, if I'll take your approach in seeing good in things, so in my opinion, Israel is winning you back, and I really hope to see you, that you'll visit us soon and come to Daliat El Carmel. And
I will.
The food in Daliat El Carmel is much better than Germany, so there's a win in here.
Hard to argue.
Listen, one sentence I have to say. First of all, thank you very much, Khalifa. It's a wonderful honor to see you in live and to talk to you in live. We can do it again every time you want. And listen, when I say I'm leaving Germany, people say, okay, when? I'm leaving Germany in November, next month. Well, we are now the last day of September. So in probably mid-November, I already have an apartment in Tel Aviv for mid-November. So I'm leaving Germany for now only for the winter. I'm going to come in spring because I don't want to close everything, but I'm sure, I'm sure until the spring there will be new nice surprises for me.
Well, I'm gonna see you in Tel Aviv then.
So
bye guys.
I
must go.
It was a pleasure, Mother.
Thank you
With
very
great
much.
pleasure. Thank you so
It was a
much.
pleasure.
Bye.
Neil,
Yes,
mentioning what you mentioned before.
I don't hear you again. I don't know what happened.
Can you hear me now?
No, I don't hear you. I'll join again. Something.
All right. Guys, can you hear me? Is my audio okay? If you can, please leave a message.
Didn't hear you again. Something went wrong here.
It's okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I do.
All right. So what I was saying is, regarding what you mentioned before, there's something that Germans and Europeans and Americans don't understand about radical Islam. And if you are living in these countries, I would highly recommend take notes right now and listen. They became the masters of exploiting humanitarian system, of exploiting the West. They would come and look and see what is your weakness, and they will exploit it. Your weakness in their eyes, not in your eyes. And when it comes to the West, to Germany, let's zoom into where we live, me and you, our current home. Germany have amazing, great rules that were written by blood, that came with a good reason. The fact that they respect the individual so badly, so strongly, the fact that they don't want to have surveillance cameras, that they give you the privacy, they don't want to probe into your own life because they came from a very bad time, dark Germany. They did all these things. The Stasi and etc. Well, they really, neighbors ratted at one another and people didn't feel safe, no privacy. The country controlled everything about the people. So they said, never again, we're going to go to the other side. We're going to give people their freedom. Now, what happened is these radical jihadists come and say, okay, wow, that's great. Let's exploit that. Let's pretend to be victims. They highly appreciate and support minorities who are oppressed. Let's pretend to be oppressed. Let's use our children. They love children's rights. So they keep showing pictures of kids from Gaza, Afghanistan. I don't know, look how miserable we are. Take us, women's rights, etc. And then they come to your country, and every way they can exploit your system, they will. Because they know that your hands are tied to defend from yourself. And that will push you to the point of either putting some blockage and maybe preventing yourself from some basic human rights that you want to have, or you're going to end up being taken over by radical Islam. Now, I'm not saying I have the solution here, but I'm telling you right now, I know the problem. And the problem is that they are exploiting your system. And we've talked about it before, and I want to show this video because I think this video comes and tells very clearly some of the problems that are happening in the UK, which are mind-blowing. I can't even imagine. And you were mentioning that there's gang rapes in Germany that are happening. I've been hearing that quite a lot. 2 a day. My God. Let's watch this video.
Only 15 years old, who repeatedly told social workers that she had been gang raped. Instead of helping her, they allowed her to marry her main abuser in an Islamic ceremony. The social worker even attended the ceremony. The ringleader of the Rochdale rape gang, Shabir Ahmed, was actually employed as a welfare rights officer by Oldham Council. In another case, a man tried to rescue his young daughter from being raped, but instead of protecting her, the police arrested her dad. I spoke to a mother whose daughter was raped by taxi drivers of Pakistani origin. When she complained to social services, they said that if she dared to raise the matter again, she would lose her daughter. And I spoke to a retired police officer who was himself told by a senior officer at the time to stop investigating abuse by Pakistani origin taxi drivers in Bradford because the police locally did not want to offend Bradford's Muslim community. So these crimes were deliberately covered up by people in authority because so-called community relations were seen as more important than protecting young girls. Madam Deputy Speaker, this is a disgrace.
You know, we're living in a time where people want to believe so badly that the government's good, that the governments have their best interest. But what are you basing that on? We've seen what happened in Nazi Germany. We've seen what happened through the history of mankind. If usually there were oppressors, it was usually the government and their own people. So if the people don't start holding their governments accountable for the crimes and the sins of the government, and one of that is actually betraying your own citizens by bringing harm from people that come and do these things to your countries. And what are people thinking? They just don't want to believe that these things are happening. I spoke to many UK people because I couldn't believe my eyes. I thought, is this my algorithm showing me back and forth because of my job, all these stories? And then I called and told me, Mansur, it's even worse than what you think. Having the police on it, having the government on it, having the media undoubtedly on it, it's just insane. Now, I just want to take a moment here to thank someone, Unusual AI. Thank you so much. It's very, very kind of you. I much appreciate it. Yeah, that's more than
Amazing.
I usually get. And highly, highly appreciate it. And also UV as well. Thank you so much. It's just a reminder, anyone who's watching the show right now, if you want to help support this channel, you can go to do the like, share, subscribe, leave a comment that helps the algorithm. This is probably what I'm having with Nir right now, one of the most live interviews I've ever done, and I mean it, Nir. I think it's such an investment in you, not just because I'm living in Germany and I feel like I'm talking to my home right now, and you are still living here, you're about to leave, which is heartbreaking. But this is the reality. Guys, wake up in Europe. It's becoming unsafe for the Druze. It's becoming unsafe for the Jews. It's becoming unsafe for the peaceful minorities, the educated minorities that are actually supporting your country, because you're replacing us with a bunch of jihadists, radical jihadists, and your media is silencing us. Your authorities are ignoring us. At many places, the police is not doing a very good job. Here in Germany, I have to say, from what I saw, they're doing actually a very good job, but they're underpowered, undermanned, and also not very supported by their own people.
Yes.
I'm shamed by their own people, which kind of forgot who are the people that are protecting you. Law and order. When you stop supporting your own police, your own troops, and you start shaming them and calling them Nazis for coming and actually trying to protect you, trust me, bad things starts happening. And it just, it just blows my mind how sad reality we're facing right now, and that we need to actually do these things and say these things.
Yeah, it's worse than this, because I'm thinking about what we're doing now, and I know that if people will look at this, talk that we have now, you and me, my friends, some of them will think that I'm out of my mind, that I'm Nazi, because it's all about the form, it has to be said nice. You don't say things like this. My ex-girlfriend told me all the time, you cannot generalize. You cannot tell it about so many people. I told her, listen, I know
Generalization
lots
is a
of
very
great
accurate
Muslims.
tool.
I told my ex-girlfriend, Marlene, I told her, listen, they are great Muslims. But when you look at statistics, big numbers, they behave as statistics. If you have 60% or something that are like this, so you can take like 5 people that will not be like this. But when you take 1 million people, it's going to be like 60%. That's horrible. I'm sure that even now, if I show it to some friends, and even, one of the things that really made me a little bit helpless about saying that I'm leaving Germany is that people told me, well, we are very sorry for it, but what can we do? So first of all, I think they should start and stand up for their own, because Germany is not only for minorities, it's also for majority, also for the Germans. Berlin, I talked to a lot of people, everybody is complaining. People say Berlin became dirty, Berlin became unsafe. It's, you should wake up and start doing something. And if I can say, I'm sorry to say, it's too late. You can't, if they're not going to go anywhere. Even if you close today the door, it's already too late. That's
You think it's
why,
too late?
yes, 100%. It's too late. Do you think they're going to leave? Do you think that the bad people are going to leave? No, the good people are going to leave. It's also, I can tell you that all those things, also what you said in the UK, I thought about my good friend Nassim, Abdul Hakim Rahman. I love you. He is from Bangladesh. I met him in Bangladesh 20 years ago. I was in Dhaka and I met him. And he moved now to Manchester. And I visited him last month in Manchester. And he told me, listen, I look at it, I am in shock. He is a consultant. I come and I pay 50% from the day I arrived. And I look what's going on. I see where my taxes go to. I am in shock. The good Muslims, the people who want to integrate, the people who want, like Chalar, they suffer the most because they get the reputation, because they're Arabs, because they're Muslim, they're whatever, and and they're good citizens. So it's horrible. My hairdresser, he's Lebanese. He's definitely not pro-Israel. He's watching El Manar in his barber shop. But he told me, listen, it's horrible what's going on. And I can tell you, these people who are like my hairdresser, he lives in all those neighborhoods that are dangerous. I don't live there. He sees it every day,
You want to hear something crazy, Neil? That's
Yeah.
something that made me realize, why am I not doing my content in German? Because many people told me, start doing your content in German or translated. And I was invited to this Berlin Israel Summit conference in Berlin by a church, Christian church that highly support Israel, and they invite a lot of speakers. And one of the speakers there was Ahmed Mansur, I think his name.
Oh, yeah.
He's a known psychologist, very smart man. He
Wonderful
is
guy.
Palestinian, a former Palestinian who moved to Germany, and he's a big advocate for Israel, for the Jews, for peace, and anti-jihad and the colonization, invasion of radical Islam into Germany. And I came to speak to him. We have the same name. So after he spoke, I came to say, Marhaba Mansour, and I came close. And when I said Marhaba Mansour and offered my hand, two undercover bodyguards almost jumped on me and had their hands on their pistols. Now, I spotted them before. I knew they were bodyguards, even though they were hiding, because that was my bread and butter. I used to do these things before, so I knew they were armed. And I immediately aside, I stepped back, and they kind of, just went really aggressive, like to protect him. And I looked at him, and he kind of told them, calm down, guys, calm down. Because, they didn't understand what I said in Arabic. They thought maybe I'm coming to stab him or kill him. So then I asked him in Arabic, and he told me, these are my bodyguards from the government. And I told him, are you paying for them? And he says, no, the government have assigned them to be over me 24/7.
Yes.
They drive me, they take me. I told him 24/7? He says, yeah. People outside my house in a car, they do shifts, they drive me everywhere to do groceries, they drive me to drop my kids in school. And when I told him, I says, why is that? He says, because since I started advocating for the safety of Germany, against the radical jihad that's coming, there's so many Muslims in Germany that want to murder me and my family. So that Germany cannot have this happen because I'm a famous person.
Yes.
So they're having these guards around me. And I said 24/7. And he looked at me and says, yeah, it sucks, man. It sucks big time. And when I looked at him, and he have the same amount of followers. Actually, I think in some aspects, I have more followers than him in social media. And I came and I said, like, ooh, I don't want that.
No.
I start speaking in German, I'm going to end up like this. The neighbors will hate me. My kid is going to be all the time. No, I don't want that.
You're right.
That's what I mean. I'm already starting to think of relocation plans. I'm starting to think, where should I go next? And it sucks because I love Germany, man. I love this country.
Me too.
I wish I came when you came. I'm coming here and said, like, wow, only now I found out about it. It's such a great country with great people, welcoming people, freedom, prosperity. Things are comfortable. The nature is beautiful. You have
nature.
4 seasons. You have 4 seasons here. I come from the desert. 4 seasons.
Yes.
The fall. It's like unbelievable. I can wear clothes in it. Where I come from, you wear minimal. It's one of the hottest places in the Middle East. A lot. Here I can come and dress. It's just such a great country.
Yeah.
I'm thinking to myself, like, that sucks. I'm gonna enjoy it only for a year or two before probably, sadly, I might need to leave as well, because the moment that this is going to become more publicly known in Germany. I'm going to be having, sad to say, life threatenings on my life and my family, and they can't protect me. The government here doesn't protect me. The police here is gonna always respond too late. The people here are too sleepy. They keep putting these. You know what? I'm getting already. In the beginning when I came and I saw all these stickers of F the Nazis.
Yes.
And, they love it. They put it. I was like, wow, that's so cool. People are here like are kind of on the right side. Now I'm fed up with these. You know why? Because I look at it, and usually these people who put these stickers, they're also the ones who go, free Palestine and support these jihadists.
Of course.
You
Of
guys
course.
have Nazis under your nose. You have Nazis, literally jihadist, barbaric, religious Nazis under your nose who are anti-Semite, full on, who are racist, full on, who are misogynist, full on, who are abusing women and children, supporting terrorism, who hate the Jews, who hate Christians, hate democracy, living among you. And you keep going around boasting, oh, look at me, I'm so nice, I'm so good, I have a sticker of F the AfD, or I don't know the name of that party. I don't care about German politics too much right now, or F the Nazis. And I'm looking at it, and I says, like, if you guys really care, then how come you're making Germany again unsafe for Jews? How come Germany is unsafe for Druze? How come it's unsafe for the minorities, the real peaceful one? Because if you cared, and if you were as liberal and tolerant like you pretend to be, then you might have done something about it. You have people here who are literally backwards in their mentality, people who would come and destroy and burn the West down and send it back to the Stone Age, and you're just welcoming them. Refugees are welcome. They like cute slogans. It's empty words,
exactly.
cute slogans, but no real action behind it. And it's just like the frog in the pot. When you heat up the water and the frog stays. That was scientific. Have you heard about the scientific experiments they did?
No, tell me.
They dropped the frog in a pan of water, body temperature. And the frogs, they can adapt very fast to the temperature around them. And then they heated the water really fast. And what happened is the frog felt danger, jumped out of the pan. Then they did the same thing with the frog. Only this time they only added 0. something Celsius every like a minute or two, slowly. And then they came back and they found that the frog was floating dead in the water because he never really felt the danger when it was supposed to jump. He never jumped out and stopped it. And that is what happening to Europe by the government here in Europe, by a lot of very evil people in power, including by a lot of very ignorant people that just don't know. Every time. I remember coming to Germany the first time, maybe more than 10 years ago, and I was so amazed by Europe, how easily you can travel between borders and how peaceful it is. And I remember coming to Germany a few years later, after all the migrants from Syria and Afghanistan, all these started coming here, and suddenly I saw police cars everywhere. And that was, by the way, during the first in Berlin, when someone drove a car into the Christmas market the first time.
Yes.
Police everywhere. I went to the subway and there was this young shabab running around shouting Allahu Akbar, and they don't understand when they shout Allahu Akbar. Some Germans say, "Oh, it's so nice that they feel comfortable." No, it's not comfortable. It's not diversity. It's invasion. They laugh at you. They're doing that because they don't give a F about you, and they're showing their strength. Because if you will grab a bunch of Christians and go to a Muslim country, Syria or Iraq or Gaza, and you'll go and shout Merry Christmas, they will stone you to death. They will kill you.
Of course.
You raise your head. You think you're Ba'alabayis. You think you're the Abu Ali. You think you own the house. They will go and kill you. So I saw that happening, and I was thinking, I was talking to my friends back then, educated people, doctors and scientists, and I told them, guys, this is going to go bad. And they all turned on me. Oh, you're such a Islamophobe. You're such a this. Oh, you guys are Israelis. I said, no, guys, I'm telling you. It's gonna make things really worse for you. And if the radical Muslims won't take it, then you're gonna be the reason that radical racist right will rise here, because the left here is doing nothing to protect it. And the only one who will jump on that train to do the right thing, which is protect their own people, is gonna take the right wing. And many of them are great people, but some extremists there will start taking that fuel and hate and anger and take it to a very bad place. And they laughed at me, and look who's laughing now. Everything I told them about 20 to 15 years ago is happening right now, 1-to-1, and it's just very, very sad. It's where am I gonna go? Where are we gonna go after? Like Israel? Maybe America.
Israel.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm going back to Israel because, listen, usually with the years, you are supposed to feel more comfortable, more at home in the place you're living. And I lived there in the same apartment for 15 years, and I feel less and less at home, less and less welcome, less and less, where I should be. I think we are in a very bad situation in the whole world right now. If you look at America with Charlie Kirk and whatever, but everything, what's going on there. If you look at Europe, everywhere, except Eastern Europe. Eastern Europe is still nice in a way. I think Israel has a lot of problems. I'm sure that when I go to Israel, I'll start, bitching because I didn't really like a lot of things then. I'm not religious and what's going on. But I think that I have there a country that has solidarity with all the problems. There is a big solidarity, when there is a terrorist attack, people are jumping and killing him immediately. And on 7th of October, everybody stood up and went there. These are things that don't exist in Europe. And it's not going to be as nice as it used to be in 2000 in Berlin when I came, and it was amazing. But that's, I think that's my place.
Israel is the only country in the world that I know that when there's a war, you'll have more people coming and trying to fly into the country.
Exactly.
Out. Like flights booked. Flight became more expensive during the war because, hey, come on, it's a war. It's
you cannot stay outside when there is a war. Not
everybody want to go back, defend their country and protect their country. There's a sense of solidarity that definitely is hard to find here. Yeah. I once asked a friend here. Well, a friend of mine asked me here and says, "Why did you try to go back to Israel?" I was in Hawaii when that happened, October 7th. Why did you try to go back? And weren't you afraid? I said, of course I was afraid. Everybody's afraid to go to war. And it's like, then I told him, because it's the right thing to do, to go and defend the innocent people. And then two Germans there started laughing like, oh, I would never do that for my government. I would never do that for Bibi Netanyahu. And I came and said, guys, listen, me and all my friends who wanted to go back or actually went to October 7 and perished on the way and went fighting to defeat Hamas and push them back and save lives, didn't do that for Bibi Netanyahu. Didn't do that for Smotrich, for Gallant. Didn't do that. They did that because there was a pregnant woman hiding in a bomb shelter with her kids screaming on the phone, please come and rescue me. They did that because there were Israelis, human beings, locked, Christian, Druze, Muslim, doesn't matter what. They were locked in bomb shelters, locked in their houses with these jihadists outside coming to murder them and rape their daughters. And that's why they came. And that's a solidarity. And then I looked at them and said, like, wouldn't you do that? If someone right now invaded a country, in a city, if the Russians came and invaded Germany now and started killing everyone in the streets here and raping, and they looked at me like, honestly, I would probably just run away to another country.
Of course.
And that's what I said, like, wow. And these are good people, by the way. They're good people.
But listen, this is the education that
no
they got.
Solidarity here. There's no this unity here that we are responsible to defend one another, to fight for what is good and to push away evil. And they kind of forgot. They don't even believe in the concept of evil. And that is...
But listen, this is the education that they got. They told them for many, many decades, we are pacifist. We are individual. There is European Union. European Union is great, but it makes that everybody comes from everywhere and nobody feels at home anywhere. Everything looks the same. Germany is not really. So, I'll go to Spain, I'll go to Sweden, I'll go to wherever. People are not going to stay here. They make surveys now that the German army has to grow. And they say that 20% of the people would be ready to fight for the country. And this is without a war. I'm sure that if, it's only theoretically, I'm sure that when the day comes, it's going to be even less. That's how it is, But in Israel, if I was in Peru when it happened on the 7th of October, I was in Cusco. But if I had been in Israel, I wouldn't be able to look myself in the mirror if I would just sit and read the news and say, well, what can I do?
Yeah. I'm not saying everybody should go fight. I'm not saying everybody should go and put themselves in the fire, but I know people in Israel that open their backyards. I know Druze women that open their kitchens, saying anyone coming. My sister was one of the first social workers in Elad that welcomed all the refugees that ran into Elad, the displaced people, their children that had burned clothes and didn't know where their parents are. My sister came and took them together with other people in the city and put them in hotels and start looking for their parents, start seeing what happened. She went. She said she lost 7 years of her life in these 3 months there. She had to go because she was a social worker in charge of the 70,000 dislocated people that came from Otif Gaza. And in the beginning, she was the one that was going and giving them the news when they found the body. Because, they came and, where's my husband? Where's my kid? Where's my father? Where's my daughter? And then suddenly they come and say, okay, we found the body. We need to tell that person. So she will go and tell them that news. And she said, like, wow, it's just heartbreaking. So that's the solidarity that you had in Israel. By the way, with Jews, with Muslims, with Christians, all
Doesn't
together.
matter. Even with Muslims, yeah, who cares? I think that in Germany, when the thing in the Ukraine came, people accepted Ukrainian people to their home as well. It's not that you don't have at all, but this is all short-lived. But when it's really all those people that stood up, there were people far away that it happened. It was a holiday. They just stood up, took their car and went there. And many of them never came back. This is something that will never happen. They don't understand it. They don't understand it,
It
because
actually
that's
reminded
how they
me.
were educated all the time.
It actually
You can't
reminded
tell them
me.
all the time.
It actually
You can't
reminded
tell
me.
them.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Go ahead, go ahead,
No,
go ahead.
go.
I'm saying it actually reminded me of 9/11 in New York, when you saw these firefighters and these first responders, when the towers were perishing, falling down, everybody's running for their life. These guys were running into the flame, into hell, to go and
Crazy.
rescue. Many of them died in the way, and I feel that New Yorkers, in many ways, well, at least not in New York of now, maybe, but back in the days, were very much like Israelis. In that has lots of chutzpah, but also a lot of communication. I'm sure there's wonderful people in New York, but it's still like that, but not this Dani and whatever. But Nir, we spoke
Yes.
for a very long time.
Yeah, 1.5 hours. Do you want to
Yes.
make some questions? Like you said, we are going to have some questions from
Yeah.
the public.
So, guys, if you have any questions, you can write them down. We'll try to answer. But I just wanted to tell you, man, for someone who's first time going on a podcast in general and live, you are a very, very articulate, very smart person, very well spoken. I was very impressed. I think you have a great future ahead of you if you choose to start going and talking in public, and I would recommend and would help support that. I mean, honestly, I'm impressed. He was telling me before the show, guys, and I'm going to embarrass him here. He was telling me that he was really embarrassed. He was really nervous.
Yeah,
This
very.
first time and this, and I told him that I'm also often nervous before I go on live.
My
But that's
hair, I have to go. No,
your
I
hair
have to
looks
go to the
great.
hairdresser. I didn't have time
Your hair
today.
looks
Sorry.
great. When I was in the army, I've learned that fear is a great thing. And if you know how to handle fear and don't let fear control you, fear will keep you sharp, fear will keep you alert, fear will keep you smarter. There's a reason why you're afraid of falling from the second floor, because you're going to break your legs. That's a good thing. The only problem with fear is when fear starts taking control over you. That's when you freeze. That's when you become inefficient. And I feel the same thing with being nervous before you going live. Every time before I go live, I'm kind of, there's something in me telling me, okay, it's gonna start now. We're gonna go live. Don't make a fool out of yourself, kind of. But that's very good to know it, to point it. And I think you did an amazing job. It was a pleasure having you here. And maybe you want to tell us a little bit about your Telegram channel again for the people who are interested to go and look for it.
Well, yes, like I said, there is a Telegram channel. It's called Hagermani. It's written with my name here now, Hagermani. And it is in Hebrew, but I have to say that a lot of my friends, Germans and others, they are taking this content and they are just letting it be translated. And they said they enjoy it as well. So I really welcome you all. I do it, just for, let's say, fun. I write relatively long post about things about Germany. A lot of things are not working. People are asking, how come the train is not working? How come, the pension funds are not working? How come, what's going on with the immigration? How come, I have like a huge list of things that I want to write about still, about how come, the anti-Semitism or the right wing and nobody is doing something. How come about privacy? So I write all about this. And I write it with my own way, and people like it, and I'm really happy that people like it. I write it in a muse, sometimes I can't write anything for a few days, and sometimes I just I go and I write something for 3 hours, and then I just post it. So you're all welcome. It's of course for free, and we have also a discussion forum, and it's nice, and I would love to be seeing you. as Israelis who speak Hebrew and also as other people. I see that people also write you here in Swedish. So also Swedish. Om ni har svenska människor här kan ni också komma och vara välkomna. Ja,
Gezellig,
I speak
gezellig.
Swedish. No, gezellig is Nederlands. Je spreekt ook
Nederland.
Nederlands.
Right. I
Ja,
just embarrassed myself. Sorry, I don't have my Swedish.
behagligt. You say
Behagligt.
behagligt in Swedish.
Yeah, that's true. By the way, someone is asking if you have an X account or if you're what's your other social media.
No, I don't. I am not. Maybe I will, and then it will be also Hagermani, I think. But listen, I'm not into social media. I was not. It's just like I said in the beginning, it just happened by accident by Itai. I really recommend you to follow him also. And, Itai Selier, it's called. He is also great. Hatzafati, it's called in Hebrew. And he has a lot and he is everywhere, but I have life. I don't want to be a social media personality. I like what you said about not being known. It's also very important for me, not being known. And it's good what you say. And I know about Ahmed Mansour, and he is a great guy. He's not the only one. Everybody who's speaking for Israel is being attacked. Even language school manager in Berlin that wanted to do he's Arab, and he wanted to do something about cooperation with Jews. He was immediately threatened, That's how it is, journalist, everything.
People like your smile here. People like your smile.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I just want to take this moment, guys. Like I said, if you have any questions, we'll try to answer them. If not, we're going to start wrapping up. But I just want to say again, thank you so much for Unusual AI. This is very, very appreciated. And also for UV, again, Kent, from the bottom of my heart, we're doing this work for you, and just like me and Nir here and others, we're doing this out of our own free time and from our own free will. So these things are very, very helpful to support us. Nir, like he said, he have his Telegram channel, which I very, very much like. It's a great Telegram channel where you can get a lot of information on what's happening in Germany, but also I have to say it's a sad Telegram channel. I mean, I like it, but I wish we didn't need to have a Jewish Israeli Druze Telegram channel where people are sharing how worried they are from the state of living in Germany. And people like yourself, great people, after 25 years in this country, you have citizenship, right?
Yeah. I have a German origin, so I had it always. Yeah, it's people always say, "Wow, it's a shanda." You know what's a shanda? Shanda,
No.
It's a shame. It's even stronger than a shame. It's really a shame for Germany that people like me. And you know what? I thought in the beginning I will just go quietly and just leave because it's like I can do it. But then I thought, I can troll them. And I am going to send some letters to some people. Like, I sent already a letter to the mayor of Berlin and telling just, look what's going on. He is pro-Israeli, it should be. He puts a flag on the mayor of the red house of and I told him, listen, look what's going on. Just look what's going on. You should know what's going on because one day you will wake up and say, where are all the Jews? Where are all the Druze? Where are all the gays? We fucked up again. We had them and we thought and we said, nie wieder. Never again, and I want to say, what is nie wieder? Nie wieder is never again. It's not sometimes not, it's not depends on what, it's not if they behave whatever, it's never again. And I have to say, nie wieder in my Arsch, never again in my ass. It's those words became empty, and I want to show it, to put them into your face. You said something and those words are just like empty words. And it's sad. I don't have anything nice to finish the podcast with. Apart from this, just be happy and do what is doing good for you. Whatever you are and whenever you are, and it's never too late to start again. And, and I think that for you, also for many Israelis, just leave, because if you think it's going to be worse in 2 or 3 years, so what are you waiting for? until it's worse? Do you want to live, to build your life somewhere else, to build your life, or just wait until it's too bad? That's why
That's
I'm leaving, you know?
that's crazy, man. That's crazy and that's sad. And you know what? I want to finish with something that is very important for everyone
What
here.
about the questions? Questions? Are there questions?
There was a lot of questions that were asking if you have YouTube channel, if you have an
No.
X, if you have that. But I think in general, we answered most of people's questions here. That was a very, very, from my experience, we covered a lot of topics here. So I think people were very happy with that.
Mm-hmm.
Something, guys, that I want to show you, and I think it's important because everybody's talking about Gaza, everybody's talking about Palestine, and they're not talking about what's happening around the world. And there's one thing that blows my mind: why are people not talking about it? And that I'm going to use my platform to remind people about the Yazidis. So watch this video here of Yazidis fleeing in Syria and in the Middle East and in Iraq and in Afghanistan, all kind of places. They're just fleeing for their life because so many of these children got kidnapped, their parents got murdered, slaughtered by the same Islamists that you've allowed into Europe to come into your countries. Many of the people that did that to them are right now walking in the streets and trying to do it to me and to Nir and to others like us because you've allowed radical jihadist barbarians to come here. And it just breaks my heart, breaks my heart. There's so many of these things happening and no one is talking about them. People are obsessed talking about silly stuff, talking about a fake starvation that is happening in Gaza because Hamas is stealing food from its own people, rather than talking about the real problems that are happening around the world. There's Christian churches right now and villages are being burned in Syria. The Druze people in Syria, my people, are still under siege.
Of course.
More than 75 days still under siege. There's 36 Druze villages who got burned, destroyed, conquered by the regime of al-Jawlani, and no one, there's a siege. They can't even go and collect the bodies. Do you understand that? And meanwhile, in your streets, you have radical jihadists from Syria and all over Palestine and all kind of terror supporting states that are going around and cheering for that. But you choose to call them victims and you choose to shame anyone that comes to warn you. And with that, I say, I hope that you wake up because with all due respect, and I'm very sad that Nir is leaving Germany, I'm still not ready to leave. I love Germany, and I really hope.
Yeah, me too. But it's like I know Germany how it was 25 years ago. It was a wonderful place. But you have to face the reality. That's what the Germans don't do. They don't face the reality. You have to know. You have to take where there is what the direction is and just extrapolate it and understand where it's going to be because there is no other choice. It's never not going to be some fairies landing and fixing everything. It's not the Bible that you have Moses who comes and makes some wonders. It's I tell you, even if they close today the borders, it's already too late. Not only for me, also for Germans.
That is crazy. That is crazy. Well, Neil, thank
Yeah.
you so much. Like I said before, you are very
Yeah.
articulate. You're a gentleman. It was a pleasure having you here.
Thank
and
you
I'm
very
very
much. Listen,
that this
we are. I
podcast.
would be happy to do it again whenever you want.
I would
And we
love
have.
that.
Yeah, I would love it. And to all those people, let me just with one sentence that say, about all those Free Palestine people, there was like a crazy demonstration now of 60,000 people. This is not a problem of Israel. This is not a problem of the Jews. This is the problem of Germany and the Germans, because these people who are calling Free Palestine, these are the people who are cheering for the murder of Charlie Kirk that nobody knew before in Germany. Nobody knew about it. And then in one day, everybody was like, of course, and they were happy about it. These are the people who write, fuck the rich, or these are the people who say, all cops are
That's great.
bastard,
Yeah.
it's the same people. And, Israel is just now the victim. We are going to go, they will find another victim. Don't worry, it's going to be fine.
You know what? Actually, it just reminded me of one last story. I know I'm terrible, and I keep saying, but it was one last story.
Yes, we have to
On the
finish.
first year memorial of October 7, I was invited here in the city to come and speak. And I thought, what should I talk about? And I remember the story that happened a month before where a friend of mine, his name is Eldar, he owns the Israeli hummus here in my city, in Akko. Great guy. And he calls me one day, says, Mansur, do you mind going with my Jewish friend? You never met him, but he want to go to these pro-Palestine demonstrations and he feels a little bit scared to go there because he doesn't speak Arabic. Do you mind going with him? Just keep an eye on his back. And I said, yeah, of course. I'll go and, take care of, protect my Jewish brother, when he goes to check these radicals. They've been only great to me, the Jewish people, and that's the least that I can do to them. So I went with him. First time I meet the guy. And as we're going, I ask him, and I says, man, why do you want to go to these demonstrations? You're an Israeli. You know what they're going to say. You're not like a naive German who thinks that it's peaceful.
No.
And they're the old song. They're going to say free Palestine. They're going to say from the river to the sea. And then they're going to say down with Israel. And they're going to say kill the Jews and all kind of stuff. And if they're allowed, they'll say even worse stuff.
Yes.
He came and he told me this. He says, I'm not worried. I'm not going to hear what the Palestinians and their supporters are saying. I know what they're saying. I'm actually worried to hear what the Germans will say. And he shared with me the story. He says, my great-grandfather fled Germany just in time, and the rest of his family didn't leave because they thought, things are going to get better. Things are going to get better. It's just now. Don't worry about it. Tomorrow is going to change. My neighbors will never join that. They will never rat on me. And his entire family got annihilated, killed, perished in the Holocaust, and only his grandfather survived. And he said, because he left Germany in time. I want to go to these demonstrations because I want to hear what the Germans are saying, because I want to know if I need to go back home, tell my kids to come immediately, pack our suitcases and leave. And when we were there, man, it was very, very concerning. It started all about solidarity and beautiful, all about, peace and solidarity. And then very quickly it went from the river to the sea. It went to down with Israel. And by the time that I got to them singing down with Israel and calling for intifada and all stuff, the Germans were singing with them.
Yeah.
Down to Israel.
Yeah.
I was walking there with a bunch of German girls with unshaved armpits and no bras, and all kind of, liberal gay people that are walking, queers for Palestine. And I was looking at them and saying, do you know what they will do to you if you go to Palestine? They will throw you out of rooftops. They will make you sex slaves. And they're going around singing down to Israel, down with Israel. And then the Arabs start singing burn Israel in Arabic and all kind of crazy stuff. But bottom line is, when the Germans start singing that, my friend, and I said, like, wow. Never in my life did I think that while there is still live Holocaust survivors among us, you'll have young Germans who think that they're smart because they're students, because someone lied to them, told them when you become a student, you're smart. Students are the dumbest version of adults. I keep saying that. They're just new adults that just became adults. I have no clue about life. And they're walking in the streets chanting down to Israel. And I was thinking, like, wow. Things, if that doesn't stop now, things are going to get worse. And just like you're saying, you don't believe it's going to stop. I still really, maybe I'm naive. I hope that it will. And if not, then I might meet you in Israel. Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for coming. It was a pleasure.
We can talk forever. So thank you very much for having me. It's a big honor to talk to you live, and also to Khalifa. I support you also on Patreon, and I call everybody else,
really?
to support. Yeah, well, that's how I knew you. I met your videos, and I'm supporting you on Patreons. Every time you say, "Oh, that's you," I connect the dots. Yeah, I call everybody. Mansur is doing a holy job, and I have another job. You don't have to support me. I don't make my money from content, but Mansur is, and even a small contribution will help him a lot. Thank you very much. You're doing an amazing service for Israel, for the Jews, and for the free world. The people who hear us and they take it to their own life and they say, wow. Okay, they didn't talk about us, but it also meets me. I think you're doing an amazing job. You're very eloquent, and your videos are amazing. Also of Khalifa, and thank you very much. And I will be happy every time to meet you again. And we can meet live before I'm leaving. 100%. Also,
And I can't believe this is your first live podcast ever, man. You're like born for this. You're
first interview or whatever ever.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop the live stream right now.
Okay.
Thank you so much, guys. Don't do anything stupid in general.
Thank you very much.
I would do, like I always say, you stay here because we're gonna keep talking after.
Yeah, thank you, Hazel. Thank you, UV. Thank you, Youssef. Everybody. Thank you very much.
Born YouTuber. Born YouTuber.
Also, here